mean, it's ironic, given everything that you said and all the aims and the thought behind this initiative, that, you know, that it's making certain women in Ireland so very, very angry. I mean, it's ironic, and it's also very sad. Hello and welcome to HLI Ireland's Let's Talk series. My name is Lisa O'Hare. The Men's Rosary campaign in Ireland has gone from strength to strength, with events popping up all over the country. Men on their knees praying before our Blessed Mother, making reparation for Ireland turning away from God, and in particular making reparation for men not taking responsibility for the women in their lives. Patrick McCrystal, one of the joint founders of the Irish Men's Rosary, joins us today to give us an update on the campaign and also to comment on some recent controversy over a Men's Rosary event in Limerick. Patrick, you're welcome back to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, Lisa. Limerick aside, it's an absolute joy to be part of this public Men's Rosary that's spreading across the country in response to the requests of Our Lady of Fatima. This movement has just started October 21, and it's springing up all over the country, and it's a joy to be doing what Our Lady asks, making reparation, praying the Rosary, meditating for 15 minutes on the decades of the Rosary. And St. Louis de Montfort stated and told us that public prayer is far more powerful than private prayer. And Our Lady told St. Louis de Montfort that the Rosary prayed on one's knees is far more powerful, and there's more blessings for those who pray it when they do it on their knees as opposed to any other pose. It's spreading all over the country this coming month, February. It's in Dublin, Cork, Athlone, Omagh, Knock, Galway, and a few other venues as well that I think are just falling into place. And it is wonderful to see men humbling themselves before the most powerful of all women, humbling ourselves before she who is blessed among all women, asking her to help us be the men that she wants us to be as we love our wives, our daughters, our children, our aunts, and all the women in our lives. So it's just a joy and a privilege to see this happening.
It's been really amazing to see the video footage of those rosaries all around Ireland, Patrick. And indeed, we've had so much positive feedback from people who've witnessed it on the street, telling us how their hearts have been moved by seeing the men and listening to the men on their knees praying to Our Lady. Now, we can't hide from the fact that there has also been some controversy, and the men it was a public rosary, not strictly speaking one of the Men's Rosary campaigns, but a public rosary that has taken place in Limerick over the last number of years, was subject to abuse on the street, and indeed a subsequent attempted smear campaign by a newspaper outlet and indeed online. They said that the organisers had disrupted a vigil for murder victim Aisling Murphy that was taking place in the city that day. I'm joined now by Paul, who was a witness, a member of the Rosary in Limerick, and he joins us to tell us his account of that day.
When I turned up, and I was about 15 minutes early, I think, or 10 or 15 minutes, everything was in place. There was a PA system set up. I think it was hooked up to some sort of electronic system in the back of a car or a van. Then I saw the people who, by the way, my understanding of vigil is always peaceful. These people, they turned up. I also understand all I had was a megaphone that you speak through, you put to your mouth and speak. So it was portable, whereas it's not portable. So they could easily have gone 100 yards down the road. There were some people carrying banners about access to abortion and other, nothing to do with the poor girl who was murdered. That we offered a decade, for the repose of the soul of Aisling towards the end of our rosary. And Well, do you know, for 2 seconds, I actually thought they were going to be respectful and be quiet. But they didn't. They continued screaming abuse, through the megaphone at us, and they were only a couple of yards away. Having said that, we prayed on. We didn't react at all, So that's my memory, my perspective.
The Men's Rosary Ireland released a statement following the events in Limerick. It can be found on their website, mensrosaryireland.com, and it reads: "The public rosary in Limerick of the 15th of January 2022 was arranged on the 11th of December 2021. Originally conducted for 2 to 3 years in Thomas Street, Limerick, the venue was changed to Bedford Row in December due to street renovations. Deemed to be a suitable venue henceforth, Bedford Row was selected and advertised since December 2021. When the Rosary organisers arrived at 1:30 p.m, they set up, and half an hour later members of Rosa Group arrived and set up beside the Rosary location. The Rosary organisers had no idea that any other group was going to arrive at the Bedford Row location. The Rosary organisers had set up 30 minutes before the Rosa members arrived. At no time were the Rosary organisers asked to turn down their loudspeaker volume, nor were they asked to move somewhere else. The Rosa members could easily have moved down the street before setting up their event. The Bedford Row Rosary Event was organised and advertised before Ashling Murphy's tragic death. A number of masses are being offered for her soul and her grieving family. The ensuing controversy is being unfairly seized upon for other ends." Patrick, what is your response to this controversy yourself?
Well, as far as Limerick was concerned, the men who showed up that day didn't know there was going to be another group, had set up their loudspeakers and everything half an hour before the other group arrived, and had decided to switch venues from December because of roadworks in their previous location. We just pray that Our Lady works all this out to the good.
I mean, it's ironic, given everything that you said and all the aims and the thought behind this initiative, that that it's making certain women in Ireland so very, very angry. I mean, it's ironic, and it's also very sad.
Well, instead of apologising for being men, we men need to take proper responsibility for the women in our lives, and the men of Ireland need to take proper responsibility for the women in their lives, because if the men of Ireland had taken proper responsibility for the women in our lives, in their lives, there would be no abortion crisis. And it's a really good thing, it's a really manly thing for men to get on their knees before the most powerful woman in all creation in public and repent, apologise, to make reparation for not taking proper responsibility for the women in our lives, and to aspire and to seek her grace to be more loving husbands, more loving fathers, more loving brothers and uncles towards all the women in our lives. That's a wonderful thing, and it's a grace for the country, we believe, and we could not be doing a better thing as men than what we are seeking to do.
Patrick, what would your closing comments on this whole story be?
Well, Lisa, with God's help, the Men's Rosary will be pleasing to God, pleasing to Our Lady, and bring healing and make a difference to Ireland. That's our thought, that's our hope, that's our prayer.
Thanks for watching. Please remember that we at HLI Ireland are working and praying for an Ireland where God is first, life is sacred, and the family is cherished. God bless.